My name's Burk. I'm the owner-operator at Westfold Farms, and we're out here trying to preserve and restore heritage breed poultry. We're working with the Delaware breed right now to produce broilers for the Austin market. So when we have people come on farm, we kind of break them down into two different groups. And the first key is just to reduce the amount of people that you let into your breeder barn. You know, for a lot of times you can just walk around the outside and see plenty, but for those that you would like to take inside, we break it down into those that are either on farms frequently or keep birds, and those that are not. So those that are visitors that do not keep birds and are not on farms, we make them go through the foot bath with their regular footing, and then their regular footwear, and then they can walk around through the breeder barn as they like. For people that have birds, and for people that are going to get inside the breeding pens, they have to go through the solution and then put booties on their feet. And specifically if they're from off farm, then we're going to either wash their clothes, as with my poultry mentor that comes out and helps me do selection. We wash his clothes in a disinfectant detergent the day before, so he puts that on with the foot bath on his shoes and the booties. And if you don't have the opportunity to wash their clothes beforehand, as most times you probably won't, we make them wear disposable coveralls, because there can be things on their clothes as well as their feet if they're getting in the breeding pen. So the only way that you're getting inside our breeding pens is with disinfected and bootied feet and disinfected and or covered clothes. Like, that's the only option, so that we really reduce the opportunities for pathogens. Whenever we get delivery vehicles, we will wash off the tires at the entry gate, so that they don't track something into the farm. And right now we're on leased land, but as we designed a more permanent location, we're going to put both the feed location and the transportation pickup for our broilers at as close as possible to the entrance of the farm, so that we can have a line of biosecurity beyond that. So by putting them as close as possible to the gate, you're negating how far they have to come on farm with tires that have been all over town and could potentially carry pathogens. So there's not a lot we can do necessarily beyond rinsing the tires here with our current setup, but it's certainly a consideration as we consider our long-term home to design it with biosecurity in mind, which means putting those necessary facilities that require off-site service from a vehicle towards the entrance of the property. Another thing to consider whenever you're building your biosecurity plan is to consider the wild bird population. So if it's possible to cover your runs so that you don't have the native bird population mixing with your breeders specifically, that's something to consider that a lot of people don't. Now, it's true, if you've got aviary netting up, their manure can easily fall through there down into the breeding pens, the runs where the chickens are. But you're still going to minimize the opportunities for those birds to be mingling in a closer capacity down on ground level with your breeders if you put up aviary netting and have enclosed runs. I wouldn't necessarily think it's needed for your broilers, your grow outs, or for your layers. That may be too much of an expense, but certainly if you have a hatchery or a breeder operation, it's worth considering. It's still relatively early, but we've had a fair amount of success with this. We haven't lost very many birds. Our mortality rate is still pretty low on this batch of birds. I think it was about 3%. So we feel like that's been successful, so we haven't had a lot of disease and illness. So far it's been very successful in the limited time that we've had it implemented, but we'll let you know how it goes long term.
To learn more about biosecurity for pastured and organic poultry flocks, visit our website at www.atra.ncat.org. The work of this project was made possible by a grant from the Southern Extension Risk Management and Education Center, a project funded by the United States Department of Agriculture, National Institute for Food and Agriculture.